Gina, it went from, I thought we're live on YouTube, by the way. I thought that I was like, oh, I'll just get up, make them breakfast. They can hang out. Of course, that turned into right after breakfast, I quickly have to eat because I'm taking them to the park. I get to come home for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Then Perry comes home early. So we're hanging out for a little while. Then I go pick him up again. We go out to lunch, come back, hang out. They want to look at the Lego. A couple of his friends were into the Lego.
Well, that's
His
always nice.
his friend Ethan was like, "Why don't you just give me a Lego set? Come on, you have so many of them." I like that kid.
And
I
you
was
said I
like,
don't give
"Nope."
my kids my own Lego sets. You're not getting anything,
Yeah,
buddy.
I was like, "You're not. No, you." I was like, "You got to get the pieces and build it yourself. That's what you need to do. Don't just buy the set." Oh, but of course I did tell him what we always tell everyone, Ando, is that you never pay full price for a Lego set.
No.
Never. You got to get the sales. Oh, did we lose Gina? We'll wait.
No, I just had to blow my
Oh,
face.
oh, okay. She
You
just
didn't
has to.
need to see that.
She just has to stand up.
I see what's going on this
Yeah, I like
podcast
that
now. I
though. That's
love it.
good, right? Let's be kind to each other. All right. Are we ready to go?
I think so.
Ready when you
Let's
are.
let's do it. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are live here on the YouTubes. This is Daily DVR. Stranger danger, stranger things. We're here to chat again. Gina, Ando, Axel, talking Stranger Things. What is it?
Five.
Season
Season 5.
5, chapters 5, 6, and 7. Shock Jock escape from Kamazaz,
Hamazats.
Kamazats, and the bridge, which were all released on Christmas. And we had previously talked about the first 3 chapters, first 4 chapters. Now we're here to talk about these 3. Of course, the final of the finale of the whole series comes out in just 2 days on December 31st. So listen to this, and then we will be back probably next week or so to talk about the finale and maybe the whole series as well. So let's say hello first. Gina, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Axel. Good to see you guys. Happy New Year almost. Excited to be
Yeah.
here.
Happy New Year. Hey, Ando, how are you?
Oh, just like I'm great as always. Every time I get to talk to you two is always a
Oh,
nice time. And it's, I think
Awesome.
this might be my first ever Monday night podcast. I don't think I've ever done one before. Well, maybe we did a football one time, but non-football, I think it's my first Monday night
Yeah,
podcast. So I'm
I
excited.
know. I
Well,
know.
Monday
Well,
afternoon for you guys. Monday night for me.
yeah, well, we're getting it in early. The game hasn't even started yet. The Falcons Rams, which
That I'm probably
exactly,
not going to watch one down
yeah,
of. So
3 people will be watching because it has absolutely. Wait, I think I muted myself there for a second. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you did.
you did. I
Touched
was
my mic.
like, I had just clicked the little thing
All
you were
right.
live streaming and said, okay. And I couldn't hear you anymore. I was like, oh no, what did I do?
No, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. All right. So let's talk about these 3 episodes. There has been a bit of I don't want to call it backlash or whatever, but a divisive response, it seems. Now it's coming from 2 places.
Mm,
I think one is based on the show itself and what it presented in these episodes. I think another is more conservative about
yeah,
Will's coming out
yeah.
scene, but I think there's people in all areas who maybe thought that was not handled the best, but particularly as far as review bombs and stuff like that. That this is the day of the internet, and of course, this is a show that has younger kids in it, and it really falls victim to that kind of stuff like Star Wars, and we've seen it happen before, but we don't need to get too much into that, right? Like that's
Yeah.
whatever it is. We're not.
None of those
That's not.
people that are doing those stupid
No.
review bombs are going to listen to this podcast
No, they're
anyways.
not going to
So
care anyway.
I don't
Exactly.
care about talk. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But but I'll admit, even my wife was like, this seems very plotty. a lot of like getting to the next thing, just a little varied thing. But let's see what we have to say about it. I want
Yeah.
to hear what you all have to say. Gina, you look like you're ready to talk about it. What do you think?
I mean, I'm enjoying it, of course, but there feels like there's something off. And I think I said that before, like we're getting these more recent pop culture things. Sorry, you can probably hear the squeaky toy in the background. Okay, good, not yet. We're getting
We
more
both have
recent,
dogs, Gina, so don't
yeah,
worry about that noise.
more recent pop culture images that I picked up on a few, like the balloons were clearly up when they were doing the triangulation of Destin in the
That was also it, though, I think, too.
oh, you
Yeah.
think
I
it was
called it
also
it too.
it
Yeah, there's a
with
lot
the
of
red
Stephen King
balloon?
references in this again.
Okay. Um, but I thought up more.
Hmm.
So Collie, the sister, had a more distinct British accent when she was on in season two, and that's not there anymore. And there's also something about her, like Hop's like, I don't trust her, blah, blah, blah. There's something about her I don't trust either. And then, I mean, I don't know. Some of it's just very clunky. It's like they're trying to take care of certain things and wrap up certain things. And I think that's always a struggle to do when you're in your
Yeah.
last season. Like, how do we wrap this up? And I'm saying how they wrapped up Jonathan and Nancy's relationship. Um, like that was a long scene. And I was like, I don't know, did we need this long scene for them to finally hash out their relationship issues? Like I think
From the hill.
I I feel like the Dustin and Steve like
Yeah.
working out their stuff was much more natural and flowed and was kind of like, okay,
Oh, that got me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, me too. But I don't, it's a little clunky. I think the introduction of the whole, what did they think it was at first? Shield generator. And
Yeah,
now it's this
the Return of
big
the Jedi thing. Yeah,
now it's this big ball of exotic matter, which, of course, when I was watching it with Kayvon, who was a physics major and works in physics and optics and everything, he goes, that doesn't exist. He's like, there's no such thing. He goes, if we had that, we could travel faster than the speed of light.
that
So I'm
when
like,
that came
okay.
up, that was the first
I
thing I
love
looked
him.
up
We
is
should
what
get
is
him on a
exotic
pod.
matter, and it basically just says anything that's not explained.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Well, you
okay,
know
so it's not
what?
really.
To me, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, finished. I was
Oh,
about to let Gina finish here on her.
Oh no, that was just kind of, I don't know.
Okay,
I'm enjoying it. I do think some aspects of it are a little clunky. There's something strange happening, which maybe is normal for some show called Stranger
yeah, it is
Things.
in the title.
But
yeah.
I'm just I'm starting to wonder.
Mhm.
I'm really hoping they don't end up doing like some sort of weird Newhart ending where it's like each season has been um a book that each kid is writing in a D&D scenario, and we're doing some like we'll have some weird flashback to when they're young sitting around the D&D table. I hope that's not where we're in for,
I've heard
but
that theory thrown around. I hate that idea too. I
I do
really don't want
too, but
that.
there's something weird happening. Like,
I agree, Gina. We
yeah.
talked a little bit about this last time, and I
Hmm.
still feel the same way. And I think, what's her name? Eight, right?
Yes.
I think that the fact
I
that
have a
her,
lot to say about eight. Let's hold up the thoughts on eight for a minute if we can. Or do
okay.
you want to say something right
No,
now?
no, I just want
Okay.
I'm just saying the fact that her power is to make people see things that aren't real
Hmm.
is just throwing me that we're not seeing that more. We see it a little bit, but we don't see it more. So I don't know, but I agree with you. I think that I I do feel I have another thing, which is maybe they're kind of setting up a sequel, a spin-off series a little
Oh,
bit more than we realize they are,
that could be.
because they're dropping like I said this to Perry. I was like, you're telling me that we have gone this many seasons and we thought that the upside down was the other side, the mirror image, the dark mirror image of our world that this
Yeah.
character Henry was sucked into because of the power that 11 had to like break through, right? And maybe
Mhm.
she was trained to do that as, but the fact that they have now built on that it's actually a gateway to a dimension, and really it's the other dimension is where the Demogorgon and all those creatures come from, and that's where, and maybe the mind flayer that took over his mind, like it just seems like that is a lot to figure out in 2 hours. There's only 2 hours
And
left.
the whole new thing about the breeding program and all that stuff,
Yes,
which
the
is
Yes.
all kind
It,
of
government,
brand.
which
Yeah.
I said too, right? Like we finally get to see the guy who his face was all messed up, that general who was going
Hmm.
around and who killed
Mhm.
Paul Reiser, and that we finally get to see him for a scene again. But there's the whole background there. So I kind of feel this. That's why I say my reaction is I enjoyed these episodes. I got the emotional parts actually hit me more,
Hmm.
and I kind of like the plot churning stuff. I kind of dig that about this show. I like it when they're like, we got to go here, there, this, that. I kind of like that. But overall, I do. That's my worry. Is I'm like, wow, they really did dump out a lot of exposition and a lot of new explanation to try to solve it in 2 hours. And plus, now 11 and 8 are going to kill themselves because they can't come
Right.
back to the world. It's
Uh,
a lot. That's a lot.
yeah. There's a
The
lot they threw at us.
I think of these seven, I like the first four better than this next three. I still like these three. I thought the first four were and it ended at a stronger place that break than this break. I mean, granted, we only have a week to wait, but a lot of the things I agree with you completely with Gina, like the modern references, even the Duffers have said, which I thought, is that a Titanic reference? It was with them on the door. That was supposed to be Jack
Um,
and Kate. That the
Yeah,
Duffers have
yeah.
said that, and the Duffers have also said that Almost Famous was a huge reference for that. They even reference Lester Bangs in one of the like when Robin is trying to pick out the soundtrack for the end of the world,
yes.
Oh
Yeah.
and
yeah,
he's like, "Oh, you're a regular." Steve's like, "You're a regular
yeah,
Lester
yeah.
Bangs," and also they've said that conversation that they have on the door is inspired by the plane crash scene when the plane doesn't crash and Almost Famous, and everybody's like giving up their biggest, darkest, deepest secrets. The
Oh,
Nancy
Interesting.
and Jonathan conversation before they
oh,
break
that did
up.
remind me. Okay, I knew
Yeah.
that
Which
was like an
I
echo of
didn't catch that. I
something.
thought the Titanic thing. I didn't catch the Almost
Yeah.
Famous thing till I read that interview with them that talked about that. So
Hmm.
that was also in my mind that there is a lot of modern references here that I'm because even if that balloons was an it reference, I think it was more a reference to the recent movie than it was to the book. But um,
Interesting. Yeah.
and the thing about them cramming everything in, I'm really wondering if some of that is like they have to know some of the backlash that Game of Thrones got and Lost got and some of these other big shows with huge mythologies that people got so pissed that they didn't answer every little question. So they're even though they're adding new things, they're trying to tie up all these old lost things and
Okay.
bring these things back. I don't
Yeah.
know if I like that. I don't need all those answers, but you know that there's people that are. I'm wondering if
Well,
that's part
that
of in their
feels
mind.
like that feels like building out, that feels like strengthening the mythology
Yeah.
in the core story. So when it branches out, people can reflect back and say, "Oh no, they said that in Stranger Things, don't you remember?" So I feel like they are, and I think that they also are probably when they branch out, they want to do new things. So I think other people are going to maybe take over this story from them, and
Yeah.
maybe they're cool with that.
Hmm.
So they by really trying to get in their whole Bible that they've had the whole time of how this universe works in this story now is it's just a lot. I'm not against it. I understand
Yeah.
it, and
And
I
I
like that
still like,
shit.
yeah.
I mean, come on, I'm a fucking geek. I love it when
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
time dimensions and
Your
shit. I
first
like that
podcast
shit.
was called Lost Mythos. Of course, you
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I love
fun.
the mythology stuff too. I'm fine with it,
Yeah.
but it is a little clunky at times. And there's scenes where I'm like, huh, this isn't it's not quite as smooth. It doesn't feel as I don't know as a well oiled as it has been in previous seasons. It's not enough for me to ding it, but I
Yeah,
feel it every once in a while. And
yeah.
what was the other thing I was gonna bring up? Something about this that oh, I have a lot to say about Kali's character, but we can save that for a little bit because it'll go deep down into the mythology holes of craziness.
Um,
Um,
can I
but
bring
yeah,
up
bring something up, please.
last time? That's okay. Last time we did pretty good. We talked about different characters
Oh, before we go, I
and
just remembered what I was gonna
oh, go
say
ahead.
quick before we go. The one
Go
thing when
ahead.
you mentioned the all of a sudden there's a whole new thing and everything we knew was wrong. I thought about our podcast we did last time, and we had said these guys are always wrong. Their ideas are always wrong, and it was perfect. I'm like
It was
three
like
times
11. Yeah.
they finally are getting it right now that they found Brenner's notes. So they're actually and Will actually has been in the mind of Vecna. So I'm like, okay, maybe now they actually know what they're talking about for the first time in the series. Like I've read a lot of people that were pissed, like, well, what they're wrong. They're not and like you guys aren't watching. They are always wrong. Their plans
Yeah.
never work like they're
Yeah.
supposed to. They always lay out these massive ideas and they always get proven wrong. And I love that whole thing that wait a minute, the whole upside down is not at all what we thought. I love that
And
just because we had talked about it last time.
and we have Steve, who's basically kind of the himbo of the group, that's going to
Yeah,
come up with the plan that's going to
yes,
save everything.
yes. I loved it. I love some of that stuff. So, okay,
Yeah.
Axel, go
No,
ahead.
no, I totally agree with you there, Endo. That
Yeah.
never bothers me, or you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's part of the story too. That it's a ragtag group of kids.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like there are so many scenes when they're like we're in the radio station or something, and it would just occur to me, I'd be like, wait a second, there's only like three adults in this room. You know what I'm right?
And
And one of
and
them
one of
is
those
not
is
really an
Murray, who's
adult.
not really an
Yeah,
adult.
exactly. Murray's not really an adult. So it's like, so I don't know. And then you never know when all of a sudden Hopper is just going to get angry or something. So,
Dude.
um, but what I want to talk about was we did talk about characters because what I did like about these episodes was we did have character questions that were definitely answered, right? And we already brought it up so we could talk about the thing between Nancy and Jonathan, right? And where they decide that they're not going to be together, which is
Yes.
right. That's what they
Yeah.
decided,
Thank
right?
Yeah.
goodness.
Yes.
But I thought it was so obtuse. That was the only problem. Is I liked it. I thought it was cool, and I liked the room and the stuff melting and like
Yeah, I
I
loved the
understood.
melting stuff. That
Yeah, it was
was cool.
cool. I understood it too, right? Like
Yep.
the thing was breaking down. It was very interesting to me. Oh, and by the way, that thing reminds me of Dark.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
Oh,
what it
yeah.
reminds me
Yeah.
of. Like
It's
the just
yeah,
the
that's
thing
all I
that
could
all of a
think of
sudden,
was the
yeah, out of nuclear energy or something, this molecule just
and then
right.
it's a giant sphere that's a
Yeah,
wormhole. I mean, that's kind of what
Well,
Dark
and
is.
yeah.
I mean, maybe they borrowed from Dark too, you
Yeah,
know?
It
it's
is Netflix.
Yeah.
hmm
They had to have watched it.
yeah,
But I liked this. I thought that this was a good end for this. I still don't believe Nancy and Steve that we're just friends. I don't believe that at all. But
Oh,
and that's okay because
yeah.
they're young,
Yeah.
right? But I thought this was also appropriately super dramatic for two young people instead of just being like, hey, we grew apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we weren't together that long anyway. It was just like we were trauma bonded
Right.
by all this
yeah,
crazy shit that happened, right? Instead, they're like, oh, run up that hill, and I'm like, they're like on the fucking thing, I don't know. It's like really dramatic. Give me the ring. I thought it was
yeah.
cute.
I
Yeah.
really liked that scene a lot. I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought I liked it more the second time I watched it too. I don't. That scene worked for me. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
So
it was fun.
Will you not marry me? I was like,
Yes,
thank God.
it
He was
was
pulling
good.
out that ring. And I'm like, what is he doing this
Yeah,
for? I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, you can
I
live.
think I liked it better the second time because I knew what it was going to
Yeah.
happen then. Because the first time I was a little confused at first too, like when you said, and then I really ended up liking it the second
Yeah.
time.
but I also think that like when she was like, I don't like when you're doing this, and he's like, I don't like when you're doing that. At one point, I would have liked if one of them would have been like, ah, shit, did you really have to go there? Like, you know what I mean? Like
But they
this
just kept
a
one
little
upping
more
each other. It's like
hurt.
I don't like when you're high. I don't
I
like when you're
know,
Yeah.
drunk. I don't like when you were high and
but
drunk.
it's
I mean,
like
it was good. I liked it.
you feel good about it, but then it's also, I don't know, it was almost like a little too, that's why I thought it was like a little too nicey,
Mm,
right? Like some of them might have been like, well, fuck you for not saying this for a year or
yeah.
more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we wasted our time here. But on the other hand, this Steve and Dustin
Mm,
stuff was fantastic.
yeah.
Oh,
And I was glad that it happened because that annoyed me that they weren't friends. And then as soon as it happened and they became friends, I was so happy. And it was so cute. And the way he was upset so much. It was just
Yeah.
beautiful. I don't know. I mean, we all watched it
that's one of
again.
the highlights of this three episodes is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
conversation that they have and the yeah he oh man that's I can't even it was great. They
Yeah.
were both so good in that scene.
I knew
Yeah.
he was afraid of, Dustin was afraid of losing Steve.
Hmm.
He lost Eddie. He
Yeah,
can't lose
of
Steve.
course.
And
Yeah.
they're besties. And You die, I die. When I saw that in the trailer, I was like, okay, they made up, but this is like killing me right now.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't, you know, I didn't
that
watch any
part scared
trailers
me.
for this, so I had no idea that was coming. I was completely,
Yeah.
I knew they would have some kind of makeup, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't knock anybody off in this set of episodes, honestly. But maybe they're not going to kill any of the main
Well, that's
characters.
the part that, like what Gina just mentioned, that was a part that scared. Like they were all, they're like,
Oh,
"Okay, I love you," and he like finally admits that, I'm sad because that is so. It's very complex too for a child,
yeah.
Hmm.
and to admit it to basically another child. I mean, Steve's like 22 or something or 21, right?
Yeah.
And that feeling of being afraid, of being angry because I'm afraid of losing you, and then Steve saying it too, and then you're my best friend and all that, and then they're like, okay, now let's end this happy moment by having like a mutual suicide pact, which I didn't like. That
But
part I was not happy about.
however, in season 3, when they're trapped underground with the Russians and they're getting ready to do something, Dustin says to Steve at one point, "You die, I die." Like it was kind of
Oh,
like,
okay,
so I
okay,
feel like it's also just kind of a thing. Like I think that suicide, it's not a suicide pact. Dustin is basically just saying, this could go terribly wrong for both of us. And it's more like, oh, okay, you die, I die. You die, I die. Okay.
yeah,
You know,
all right, I like it that way.
they're
I like it.
accepting that this might be the end of them
Yeah, I
both.
didn't
At
really feel
least
like
they're
it was a
going out
suicide
friends. Yeah.
pact, but
Okay, good,
As
thank you. All
opposed
right, I
to
feel better now.
Ellen Colley,
Yeah.
yeah,
which
well,
is, yeah, we got
Well,
there.
okay, so because we want to save that for more mythology, let's talk about the will scene where he comes out and how
Oh,
we took that. I thought that, yes, it was, it's a hard thing to say because I think that there are some people obviously who have a certain reaction to it, and that there's other people who have the reaction of, well, it shouldn't have been such a doesn't need to be such a big deal or something people. I read something where someone said, and even I'll admit when he was sitting down to say it, I thought he was going to say that, but he was going to link it more to kind of explaining what's going on with Vecna and everything. You know what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like kind of saying like more like, I've never, look, even though I'm with you all and we all love these same things, I am different from you, right? But so I felt different within this crew, but we all feel different together. You know what I'm saying? Or something like, I
Yeah.
don't know, something like that. You know what I mean? Like kind of tie it more back. But generally speaking, I think TV needs more stuff like this, especially in today's day and age. We're getting a big pushback against stuff. And I think that and the kid delivered, he really, like we talked about last time, he delivered it so
Yeah.
well. It's great
He's
acting.
he's been great this season, and I've seen some people like slagging him off
No,
about
he's
his
really
acting,
improved.
and I think he's done a great job. I think so. There's another show happening right now, and the last episode,
I already know
knows
what
what I'm
you're.
going to
I
talk
haven't
about.
seen it, but I know what you're going to bring up. I can tell
Don't
already.
spoil me. Is this for
No, it's
Heated Rivalry? What are you
yes,
talking about? Okay.
yeah, and
We didn't watch yet. We're gonna watch that maybe
there's
tonight.
there's a similar scene, and it was
Oh, okay.
weird that they both dropped the same night. Literally, it was
Interesting.
Christmas night,
Oh,
and I
okay.
Oh,
watched the
Okay.
Heated Rivalry one first, and they're just so different. I think like Will's was definitely more of a build up, and he's been hiding the secret a
Yeah.
long time, and um, but I do think it's interesting that we on TV had both of these like scenes the same night for
Good.
people to watch. And it was like, let's go for it. You're the gays. I like it. Coming out.
That's good.
Um, but I thought the scene was good. For a minute, I thought I was kind of borderline like, okay, Robin's not gonna steal his thunder and be like, by the way, I'm gay too. Like I almost expected her to be like,
Right?
by the way, Vicky and I are girlfriends.
Or he like accidentally outs her and he's like, And she really helped me because she's like, no,
Right.
just it's not,
I
it's your scene.
I was kind of like, I was halfway waiting for like a funny
Not that
thing
she'd
for her
care,
to be
but
like, it's okay, I am too. Like almost
yeah,
like a validation, like you're not the only, you're not the only one that's different. I'm different too. And, the fact that she had confided in Steve and he's like, Steve is the first person you told. And, that was just kind of cute with Will. And then
that
he
was cute,
he
actually. I
decided to
forgot
tell
about that.
everyone.
Yeah, Steve the
Yeah,
Hair Harrington, I think is what she
Yeah,
calls him.
my
yeah.
former arch nemesis. But yeah, it was just interesting. There's a lot of coming out happening on TV Christmas night. But no, I thought the Stranger Things was really good. So
It's a scene that I like the scene and I love the idea of what it means for the show. I thought the scene itself was a little clunky, and there was a few like I think there was too many people that were there for one thing. I wish it would have been more the core group. If that makes sense. Like, why is Eight there?
mm.
Why is Vicky there? Some of these people that don't even know him. I mean,
Hopper
that's the
wasn't
part.
there,
Was
oddly.
that? Yeah,
I
and
don't think
Hopper was
Hopper
Yeah,
not
was
there.
yeah.
there.
That's why I'm
Yeah, Hopper
talking,
was not.
Andy. That's
Yeah.
why I feel like bringing it into, well, but it's important to have
It
it be
and
its own
and see,
scene.
I part of it,
Yeah.
because I mean, the people, I still can't believe there's people that are shocked that this was a reveal because I thought this was kind of an open. I mean, who didn't know this? I mean,
Confirmed.
watchers, not and. But the thing that I like about it though is that it basically turns Will's biggest weakness in this upcoming war into his
Yeah.
biggest strength.
Yeah.
And I think that is awesome because that was what I mean, if you're paying attention in the first episode,
Yes.
Vecna basically says to him, I'm going to use your weakness against you and
Yes. Yeah.
you're going to lose all
Yeah.
your friends because of all this. And Will turns it around on him, and that now it's his biggest
Yeah.
weapon is his strength of his loved ones and everything. I think that I love the idea of that and the theory of that. It just something about the scene. I still liked it, but it just was like something just didn't quite hit me completely.
Yeah, because it didn't fully communicate the idea that by overcoming by the point it would, the things Vecna or Henry said to him would come true because of his own fear. And
Right.
if he can
Hmm.
conquer his own fear by being himself and saying to these other
Yeah,
people,
and
look, this is who I am. And if you don't like it, I'm going to talk to you about it, but I am who I am.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, his
Then
biggest
it
fear is losing
eliminate,
his friends and his family and his
yes.
loved. And
So it just was not, that is what I say. It's very hard to achieve. I give
yeah,
them
oh, for
kudos
sure.
for trying. They're going to get it from all angles, of course. But for me, I'm glad they included it in the show. I think the actor pulled it off.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have scenes like this because
Yeah.
there, the world is a very different place. And there's certain places where a scene like that, people are like, oh, of course, everybody knew he was gay, big deal. And then there's other places where that could be very meaningful to a person who is not in an
Well,
environment
and
that's so
like
friendly to them.
if you think about
You
it
know what I'm
too,
saying?
and
So
that in the 1980s going through this, I have
that's
a
the other thing,
I have a cousin
Andy.
that I grew up with that lived like a half a mile down the road, and he didn't come out until he was in his 20s. But I've had a conversation with him before. He's like, I would have never done that when I was in high school or junior high, not in
Right.
the place we live in, because in that time, and
Yeah,
I'm a little bit younger than what these characters would be, but it would have been the early 90s, not that far off
exactly.
from this time when they were this
Exactly.
age. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get why it would mean so much to people. And I think that's a cool element that they
Yeah.
even did it.
Yeah.
Just like I said, just something about the execution didn't quite hit me on all cylinders, and I love the idea of this
Yes,
scene
Well,
of
being here.
course.
and I'll also add, I think something like how do you add this into what's happening in the 80s in the gay community at this time? There was an AIDS crisis
Hmm.
happening at this time. And so I think the stigma on coming out was even more than just like, you're gay, you're a fag, kind of that, putting people down for it. It was kind of like, well, he did say, my family would be really worried for me. And yeah, I could
Yes.
see
Yeah.
that because it was a time when you couldn't live with AIDS. People were dying from it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that was I grew up kind of in the Bay Area North, but I remember being like 8, 9 years old watching the local news in San Francisco at my grandmother's, and they were talking about the AIDS crisis on the news, like,
Yeah.
because it was happening there first. And it's interesting they
That's a great
haven't
point, Gina.
haven't brought that up, but that there's so much more. I think we're lucky today where we don't think of this as, the stigma around it. Like it wasn't just being gay in the 80s, it was being gay in the 80s and people dying because, you
Yes.
know, from I don't want to say
a
they were dying
plague that
from
people
being
did
gay.
not understand
Yes,
even how it was transmitted
exactly.
to the point where people be like, don't come in while I'm wearing a
That was
mask around.
impacting the gay
Yes.
Yeah.
community
Yes. So
more
because,
acutely than
yeah,
any other community.
yeah.
Yes.
And the president wouldn't even say it and wouldn't give
Right.
research money to it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
there's yeah, of course. But within the
Well, and this show
context
really
of,
like this show doesn't really tackle sex and that
no,
type of
that's what I was
thing
going to
No.
really.
say.
So
That's
Like
what I
it's
was going to say.
Nancy's
Yeah,
the
of
only one
course.
having sex in this show.
yeah, yeah.
Nancy Reagan. The
Nancy Wheeler.
within the context of the show, though, that's why it's good to have this conversation that
Right.
leads us to have others. But within the context of the show, that's why I like this idea that Vecna preys on the freaks and the geeks to
Hmm.
try to right and bring them over. And because why? Because they also have the special powers, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun, isn't it? And we all love that. And I was hoping more so after when he came out, then I was like, okay, then the next part is going to be you we explaining that for us, giving us a little more exposition of understanding that these kids he chose, right? Even Mike's sister or whatever, right? They
Right.
have something about them too. Because this is something that Henry said to them earlier. You're special like me, right? Like, and
Yeah.
connecting it to the 11 thing, and then maybe 11 saying they did experiments at like this. Do you see what I'm getting to
Yeah.
now, right? Like
Yeah.
it would have led to like a whole big, like if you're gonna give us exposition, fucking give it to us. And that was a perfect time with everybody sitting in the room together to have like a dump out
Yeah.
almost similar to what happened on the door. So that's all for me. That's where I'm coming from. Everything else I liked. Did we what did we get excited when what's her name? Mom? I forget I always forget their mom's
Um,
name.
Karen,
Karen.
When Karen blows up the Demogorgons
that
in the
was pretty odd.
dryer.
And that scene too is another reference to a '90s. That's Jurassic Park. That's the raptors coming into the Demogorgons
Oh
even come in
yeah.
Yes.
just like the raptors do when the
Yeah.
kids are in the kitchen. Some of
Yeah.
the same camera shots are even used.
You're
That's
right.
another one.
But they're
I
above
love that whole
them.
scene. Just
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and above it's I loved it. My only question is, does no one really give a shit about Ted, the
That's
dad?
that's what
I
Perry
know.
said.
Not even mentioned.
She said, "Isn't
And
he? Is he dead or what
and like
happened
when
to
they're
him?"
trying
I
to
He's
get
in
guess.
Karen to the stage, it's
coma.
like, well, your husband's here. He needs help too. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Ted too. He's a fun character, but we haven't seen him since that golf club attack on
Oh
the
man,
green on the pitching range,
Yeah.
wherever he was.
that is pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Oh, hey, wow, we got a lot of comments over
Oh,
here from Bath Time and Grandpa James and
oh, Grandpa
Big
James.
JS.
Oh, nice.
Oh wait, Stranger Things season 4. Oh, that's right. It's season 5. I gotta edit the
We see it
video.
season 5.
Oh no, but I put season 4
Oh,
in
in the
On
title.
the YouTube thing.
yeah,
You
when
want
I
me to
was
Okay.
change?
doing
You
the
can keep
YouTube.
talking, Axel. I'll go in and change it for you.
Oh, okay. You're the best, Ando. Um, well, I don't remember what we were talking about. I was going
Karen
to look at the
Wheeler.
questions again.
Karen
I
Oh, the
Wheeler.
changed it.
dad.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he was kind of a dolt anyway. I wouldn't be sad if he dies and Karen gets with Steve or something, you know?
I was thinking Karen and Murray, actually.
Oh, Karen and Murray.
I think Murray is so funny. Like he's
I
actually
do
one
like
of the
him.
more eligible.
Yeah.
Like he's a better time than Hopper, that's for
There you
sure.
go. Well, we do have, I mean, we didn't have much of, I guess, the Hopper 11 relationship. We talked about that the first time around, the kind of continuing with the teenage thing and him worrying about her. But really, the emotional scene he gets this time around with Joyce is basically just reiterating, like, I can't lose her like I lost
Yeah.
my kid, right? Was his first, was that his daughter or his son? His
Her
daughter, right?
daughter, his daughter.
Daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, and then of course we're set up with 11 and 8 saying to 11, of course, we can't live in this world anymore because they're just going to keep on trying to find our blood. Strengthening that thing for me, which does also, I think, in the mythology part, give them an option for this happening before as well, right? Not just
Mm,
after. So they could do like a Stranger Things World War II or something. You know what I'm saying? Like when it really started, they could go
mm.
back if they want to
Yeah.
the origins of the origins. So I kind of saw that, but that was kind of, I mean, that's definitely, I think, setting that up for the finale, where that choice, her making that choice, and him having to having to finally let go and let her make her own choices, right?
Mm.
That's how I see it. That's how I see we're being set up. I don't know if you all agree with me.
I
Hmm.
mean, I don't
Okay,
know.
maybe
I
not.
don't know if she's convinced she's going to go the way of eight, the eight wants to go. I mean, I think we need to maybe should talk about eight now? Because
Yeah,
I think
let's do it.
talking about
Yeah.
eight determines what
I think
11 might do.
yeah, eight. I have lots of ideas about eight and different ways this thing could go. I mean, one of my, especially in respect to Hopper, I think one of the things that is a giant possibility. I mean, the, the feeling I was getting by the end of this was that 11 is going to sacrifice herself. I don't think she's going to make it through the series, and I think one way that that could happen is Callie and her stay on the other side, like she says, and Callie uses her projection to fool Hopper into thinking 11 is with her. And by the time Hopper realizes it's too late and 11 is gone.
Mm.
So you don't think Callie is going to sacrifice herself at all
No,
in the
Callie
end?
will too. Callie and because Callie and
Oh,
11 have both said we need to stay on the other side so no one can use our blood again.
he's going to keep a vision of Elle with Hopper, so he thinks she's okay. Oh,
Yes.
oh,
I think that's one possibility. I mean, that would be
oh.
sad because I would hate to see Hopper lose two kids. That seems a little too much to put one character through, but that's just one of my possibilities with Kali. I've got a couple other as well, but I don't know what are your thoughts, Gina, on any of this?
That's a very interesting theory. I'm not sure if I believe Collie when it comes to the whole breeding program that like
Mm.
maybe and that they were taking her blood. I mean, we don't know. We just have, she's the only source of narration.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't trust anything Kali says either, so that's why I'm. That was my one thing was just one idea I had, but yeah, continue.
yeah. I don't know. It almost seems too simple in a way.
Hmm.
I,
But
I, yeah, I agree.
but
I
it, it
agree.
it does kind of explain. So Eleven's mom, we know she can flicker lights in her kind of coma state. This is actually, I didn't think about this until now, but she can flicker lights to try and communicate. She was able to communicate with 11. Why do I all of a sudden just want to start calling her Jane, which is weird? Able to communicate with her when she got into her mind. What if, what if Mama's somewhere in, what if Mama is somewhere in the uh abyss with all the kids? We haven't seen her, but I don't know, but
It
she
would
she
not surprise me if we saw Mama in the finale
she,
in some
yeah,
respect.
she does seem to like she was able to flicker lights. We know that. But you would think if she had been infused with Henry's blood, she would probably have more powers as well. Like, why would it have to necessarily be in vitro? Just because that's when the cells are forming. But I mean, we can alter DNA. I don't know. I just think there's something about it that seems far-fetched that it's an infusion and that
Well,
the kids' ages were so different. They weren't all the same age.
you can go you can I mean there's one super obvious route you could go here. When we already know that Joyce and Hopper are the same age as Vecna.
Henry Creel.
Is
Yes.
Henry Creel the reason why 11 has Henry's blood is because she's Henry's blood. Maybe is he the dad?
Well, I think.
Because didn't we see the dad in a flashback at one point? But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not.
Oh,
He was in the red room. He was in that whole.
oh,
Hmm.
and yes, yes, because even if he was taken by Brenner as a child, as he developed, they didn't only have to take, they didn't take blood from him. They took sperm from him and they
Because
impregnated these women with
I
his
mean,
sperm.
11. It
Dun
could
dun
11 is Luke
dun.
Skywalker and Vecna as Darth Vader. I mean, that could be an easy way to.
Yes,
Or here's. I mean, I don't. Axel, what do you think about that idea?
he is
Possibility or not?
Papa.
I
Yeah.
think any of that could be possible because they've left so much stuff open, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you never know. And I don't know. I think in general they may do things like that, but I think they want to open it up too. So I do think that a larger program that existed where there's more people, like he was a successful one, right? But he's not the only one, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So this is like kind of
Vecna?
like, yeah, like the almost like the Skywalker saga, but there's other Force
Hmm.
people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's other people have powers, there's other
Yeah.
strong people. So I just think that this is his story and what happened here with Eleven and everything like that. I mean, he was definitely focused on her as well back in the day when she was a little kid, right? When they were
Mm-hmm.
in the lab together. So, I mean, I could believe any of that. And I think you're right about the mama coming back and maybe that being some kind of choice or anything. But I don't know. They're just again, there's so much
Yeah,
to
they can go a lot of
accomplish
different ways.
in such a short period of time. I feel like they want to end this story, but also widen it to keep it alive. And I also think having eight involved in this is so weird. Like they did this whole thing where her and Hopper have to go into they sneak down there, right? They get into the base, they open the door, and it's her. And then what has she done since then?
Not much.
Okay,
She's just
so
hanging out with them.
Yeah, it's weird.
here's some of the other thing. Okay, we've barely seen her use her powers since she's been back.
Right.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Why do they even
And
keep her?
if you look up the name Kali, which I did because I'm an uber geek, Kali is the Hindu goddess of time, spelled
Oh,
exactly the same way. And doomsday and death. The
Well,
goddess also participated in military campaigns, can help exact revenge, and is a slayer of demons.
Slayer of
But
Demons is helpful.
a goddess of time. We
And
mentioned
we
this
a
before.
Wrinkle in Time.
Are we
Yeah.
gonna
yeah.
see some form of time manipulation or time travel, or is Kal is Kali tied to Vecna? For some reason, I
I
want to say that she is.
Yeah. I feel
well,
like there's
well,
something weird there.
I think so because if you think that right now what their plan is to go into the upside down, steal a helicopter,
No, that's
fly
not
the
it.
he oh
No,
that's
that one got
not
shot down.
We've got the beanstalk.
oh
Yes.
oh the beanstalk. Oh,
That
that's
was the
right, the
first
Yeah.
idea.
beanstalk.
Yeah.
Sorry, the
Hopper was all
beanstalk.
ready to take that
So
helicopter, and then
I
yeah,
they're
was like,
gonna
where's
wait
Yuri where we need him?
they're
Yuri.
going to
yeah,
wait until which does not sound like a plan that could go wrong anyway either, right? They're
Right,
going to
right.
wait until the
foolproof.
universes are so close together
Yeah,
that they can climb up and go doo, 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 and open the trap door and and flip around and fall and go in and then try to find Vecna and kill him. And then once they do that, it's going to somehow stop everything from happening. That's what I'm trying to say. Like this just there is just a lot. That's why I always with this show, I always just I like when they have this plot churning stuff. I just kind of go with it
yeah,
and I
I do
say
too.
I like to try to guess that, ooh, maybe this might happen. But also I know that what's going to happen is they're going to start doing this, and then all of a sudden they're going to go, "Oh my God, I just realized something."
Or we were
And they're going to,
totally wrong.
yes,
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
were totally wrong. We have to do something else.
Or
And they're
Kelly's
going to be
making
like,
us
"That's
see
fun."
everything it's not real,
Yeah,
like
the
that's, and I'm not against it. I want to say that. I'm actually pro my own idea here that they're setting us up for spin-offs and all
Oh,
this kind of
I think
stuff.
there's no doubt they
I
are.
like it. I like this world, so I want it to continue. So I don't need, I think what this has to come down to is these kids like taking ownership over themselves, right? And really 11 too. So, and maybe Hopper releasing control so much, Joyce releasing control so much, you
Yeah.
know?
Another side idea I had was maybe eight is here because they're setting her up to be the big bad of the spinoff.
Oh, I like that.
Because
Oh, that could
Kali's
be.
power
Oh,
is to project images into people's heads, make them see things they aren't. What other thing have we seen in this series that does that? The mind flayer.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is
And
she
that's
tied
the
with the
other
mind
thing.
flayer somehow?
The
And
other, well, that's
if
the
you
other
look at
thing, yeah, no.
Vecna's where Vecna is now with that thing upside down, that's the mind flayer dead upside down. It has to be.
Yeah.
If
That
you look at
his
that,
his cave is the mind
yeah,
flayer that he's
I think so. It
inside.
sure looks like it. Yeah, look at a picture of it, and you got all the teeth on the inside. You got the pulsating stuff. It looks like a dead
Okay.
mind flayer to me, upside down. It looks like a dead spider upside down.
Oh, hey, oh, we have a good bath time says in the chat.
Sorry,
I
I'm all over the
still,
place.
No, you
no, I
don't want to
like
know what I
this.
think it looks like.
Oh, oh,
Uh-oh.
what do you think it looks like?
A vagina with teeth.
I was going to say it looks
Oh.
like a cervix.
I
Well,
mean,
they did talk
it's
about Return
female
of the Jedi.
anatomy
There
with
was
a
kind
lot
Yeah,
of
of
one of those in
teeth
Return of the
and
Jedi.
yeah,
So,
the inside. Yeah.
even the Demogorgons
Um,
with their
yeah, well, yeah, that for sure.
um, uh, Bath Time says, I still think the bloke with the suitcase in the tunnel Holly and Max went down is probably going to be Henry's psychic origin thing. I
yes.
like that too. What was that about? We didn't return back to that.
We
And
didn't get
maybe,
yeah, we only
I'm
saw the beginning
yeah,
of the opening of the case, which was
yeah,
I'm
also a
sure
Pulp
we're gonna
Fiction
see that.
reference, by the way.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely.
How did I miss
That
that?
was
Of
definitely
course it
Pulp Fiction.
was.
But
Yeah.
that is, we have to do something on the show is we have to unconfirm that what Lachlan thought was just something in that cave, which is now we're learning it's something different. It's a different
Mhm.
cave. Maybe something different happened, but I like that. But I thought that was interesting because that's leading to his.
Well,
We
and
still have this overall question of we know Henry Vecna. They believe him to be the source of this power. But we also believe there to be this mind flayer creature or a creature that lives in this other world that turned Henry into what he is now and gave him all these creatures and something, right? That he's just like a general and this guy is
well,
the president or
that's
something, right?
according to Dustin. Don't
Okay,
have that
yeah.
confirmed yet either.
Okay, okay.
And I mean, there's ideas out there from the play, but they're not. Like I said, one of the first things they had said is that's somebody's version of the story, not necessarily the version. So,
Right. I
Mm.
like. Oh,
and
and Bath Time says a good thing in the chat. They'll do a thing where Henry and Vecna are separate beings, or they're separate. I think that's it makes sense. The good and the bad.
I like that idea
He
too.
He
can
can be
separate.
yeah, he can finally be free too. Because we want that for Henry too. They did make us have some sort of, a little bit of
The
empathy
other
for Henry.
the other thing too is that it's not the cave is something different. That's a mine shaft that he's in. The cave is
Yeah,
where
yeah.
Max was. So there's two separate
Well,
things there too. Which caves
some
is another huge Stephen King thing
Definitely,
in a lot of his
definitely.
stuff,
somehow
and the
the
door
cave
and everything.
leads
Yeah.
to that mine shaft underground because Henry went in through the cave and he goes, I was in the cave and I heard you crying for help, but it was the mine shaft that led to where it was taking place. So it's
Ah,
probably just
Yeah.
all
okay.
interconnected,
Interconnected.
but
Well, yeah, there's tunnels
yeah,
all over the place. Yeah, that would make
And
sense.
also, it's just a representation of, in his mind, of what
yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting too, because when she said, hey, how about out there? I kind of thought, I wasn't sure out there even existed. You know what I
right.
mean? But
Yeah.
then he gets to go. I thought that was pretty. I like I like what they've done with that whole Henry's mind thing. What did we think? We didn't talk much about it. What did we think of running up that hill when when Max
Hits the
slow
pause
like
button and
yeah, this has anyone there's so many videos going around of people like while she's waiting, just like reading a book, hanging out, doing
Well, we're
makeup,
talking to Holly for like 10
talking to her.
minutes.
My
Yeah.
wife and I were like yelling at the screen. We're like, go,
Run!
last time you were just about to go there when you got grabbed, and now you're just hanging out,
Yeah.
which is eventually what happens to Holly anyway. Maybe if she hadn't chatted for so long, she wouldn't have been sucked back up. You know
That
what
Well,
was
I'm
one of
saying?
those clunky moments where it's like this doesn't quite or the whole at the last second. Oh, by the way, you can't
Yeah.
come with me. You got to go back to this hellhole.
That
It's
didn't
like
really,
it's
that whole thing, and even when she wakes up and everything, I have to say, that part, not, it didn't
when
really
Holly or when
overwhelm
Max
me.
wakes up.
When Max wakes up, it didn't
Okay.
really overwhelm me. Like it was so long overdue, and we had seen her in
yeah.
the other world that it didn't feel too much of like it was just that so much was happening. It just didn't
I did
really
love the
kind
immediate
of get me.
aftermath though when the Demogorgons charge the place and like Robin gets on the PA system and get the hell out. I love that whole chase scene and the military I
Yeah.
love that
That's
whole
That's
sequence.
good.
That was really fun.
That's what I mean. It is like that overtook it more so
Yeah.
than like,
Yeah.
because also I do like though that they both said they were like sick of that song because I
No,
think
she said
everyone in
she
America,
wasn't, but
oh,
he
I thought he
was.
did. Oh,
He's
okay.
like, are you bored of it yet? She's like, no. And he goes, Sheila, are you? He goes, yeah.
See how in my mind she said yes just
Oh,
because I
funny.
wanted her to. Because that
Mhm.
I don't need to ever hear that song anymore, even though I'll probably sing it 4 more times on the show tonight. Um, but that's good that she came back. I kind of, I really, I found that's a hard thing to achieve, and it is very Stephen Kingy and like the dream world, the inside
Mm.
someone's mind or whatever. And I think that they kind of accomplished it well, and even to the. But when like Holly came out the other side, I was like, okay, so where is she now? Wait, she's in a physical realm, and that's why I liked how when she escapes and is running away, you kind of realize, oh shit, she's in this other world,
Mm.
right? That's what I like the way they did that, right? Like they used the confusion, like the apparent confusion, oh, we could fuck this up and you not know where they are, to their advantage to kind of surprise us. But I was surprised that that world wasn't more full of the monsters and creature. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Right.
Well,
Like it's,
I think it's a dying world though. I think that's part of why he wants to combine them. I think it's
or
at
he
least
pushed them
that was
all
my thought.
out. He pushed them all out to make something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. Either one, right? Like, is
I
it
like to
dying
I'm
because it's dying or because he wants it to be that way, barren, so he can populate it?
Yeah.
I like to that it shows us where Vecna was banished to basically at the end of last season because he shows up in this world that we'd never seen before that wasn't the Upside Down and it's obviously this world that we see again now. I'd forgotten that. I went back and watched the end of episode season 4 last night, just the last few minutes, because I had forgotten that part. But I like that they tied that back in because I think a lot of
Yeah.
people. I kind of forgot that had happened at the end of season 4
Mhm.
when Vecna loses, but I did. I really like that stuff.
Yeah. Good
Mhm.
stuff. Let's see. What else do we have? We talked about a lot of the major characters, I think, right?
Do you guys think
Oh,
it's? Oh, go
Oh,
ahead, Gina.
I
Go
was going
ahead.
to say, thank goodness that the science teacher is finally in on
oh
everything.
yeah, I
I've
like
been
him.
waiting for this. And I was like, I really hope he has a bigger part other than just being disrupted in class.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then Erica's like, who's the other biggest nerd in Hawkins? He is. Let's go get him. And I'm like, finally, this guy's mind's going to be blown. And it was. So I'm happy to have the
I think
teacher.
my favorite part about having him there is it was a good reminder of how unusual everything is because we've gotten so used to it, and so have the characters of going to the Upside Down and seeing all these magic powers. Like he sees the camera get crushed, and he's like, "What the hell?" And then
Yeah.
like you see him just like his look of awe in the Upside Down that
Yes. I
we
like
kind of had
that.
lost that sense of awe because all the characters are so used to it
Yeah.
now. I loved having him there for that reason. Besides, he's just a fun character
Yeah.
too.
He's fun. And I love
Eh.
how Murray's calling him Schnookums because he was with the librarian.
Yes, the librarian, really, Erica? Yeah, that's some great line readings
um,
here.
yes, he is a welcome addition, and also he's an adult, and it's good to have some more adults around with all this crazy stuff. I thought it was also funny, and I like this part. when when what's her name's girlfriend kind of saying she's like kept on thinking that she was on drugs, and she's
Robin's girlfriend
like
Vicky.
Robin's girlfriend. Okay,
Vicky,
Vic,
yeah.
thank you. Was like the town has been split in half. There are creatures running around. Like, why do you think I still think I'm on drugs? But to me, that was hilarious because it's like the 80s, right? Where it's like,
Yes.
say no, like
Just
everyone
say
was on
no.
Drugs.
drugs.
You're on drugs.
Like, no matter
Yes.
what, people were like, we know you're on drugs. Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
fine. It's cool. Like, there were a lot of scenes in 80s movies when people were like, did you smoke the pot? And they were like, no, there's a creature after me. And then it would come and kill the
Yeah.
mom, right?
That
Like,
that was a
I thought it
missed
was funny.
opportunity to be
Yeah.
like, just say no, Robin.
Yeah.
Like
But
get
I
the whole
think,
Nancy Reagan program in there.
I don't think kids get that.
Yeah.
Like, I think only older people get
It's
why
for
she
us
kept
too.
on going
Yeah.
on and on with you're on
Yeah.
drugs, even though they're in this crazy town and all this shit. And
Yeah.
that is one thing I do want to mention is there is so much going on, right? I actually feel a little bit like I watched the F1 movie the other night. And I felt the same way about this movie. There's so much plot to get through, and there's so much stuff going on that we don't really get a great feel of the world as much in these episodes, right? Like the fact that the town is still like they're going to school and they're living their life or whatever, but the town has all these fucking metal plates over it. You know what I'm saying? There's crazy shit go like what
Yeah.
does the
Besides a couple
outside
of,
world think of it? What is
yeah.
going right? Like what
We
does the town next door think is
Where's
happening?
Susie?
Or
Where is
yeah,
Susie? Did
I
Dustin like break her heart because he's
yes.
like so? But I feel like we need a Susie appearance. I mean, she
Yeah.
helped save the
Yep.
world before, but they're already on their way in. And I'm like, I feel like there are missing pieces. You guys are all in, but we're missing people for
Yes.
this. I
Well,
don't know.
that wasn't that
Yeah,
part of taking the show to California? And you know what I'm saying? Why doesn't pineapple guy come,
I
pizza
know.
guy come driving in? Or like, I just feel that's one thing too. I just want, it's not, I don't want to nitpick, and I am enjoying the show and I enjoy it for what it is as well. I mean, this is a fun nostalgic, cool, geeky show. It isn't The Wire. We don't have to be like, well, if he was
Yeah.
here, you know what I mean? Have to put it together like that. But I do feel a little bit like we could have backed off on a couple of the big plot points, like slowed it down to check in a little bit with someone in another
I
area, or like
I
we hear
wonder
about
if we're
what's
gonna get
happening in
some.
Hawkins.
I wonder if we're gonna get some cameos. Like since we have multiple characters who can do mind manipulation, we'll do multiple cameos. Let's say Sean Astin shows up for a half a second, or some of these
Mm,
other, or Eddie or somebody, because Vecna is
Oh,
manipulating minds. And
yeah. Well,
I
we
wonder
saw
if
the
we'll see some of
brother
those
came
characters just
back.
as a little. It'd be a nice just as a little
It's an
there's a
send
interesting
off. I think.
idea, Andy.
There were a
Interesting.
lot of
I like
rumors
that.
around Eddie coming back because he did an interview after Stranger Things this season started. And he's like, oh, it's already out. Like, it just seemed like too much of a plain dumb type of thing.
Uh-huh.
Like, I
Mm,
don't know.
Because I could see,
Oh,
or
I'm
Billy. I
cool
mean,
with
there's
that.
tons of characters that could have a
yeah.
couple
Yeah,
brief
Billy,
seconds of a Vecna torturing them in their minds or something like that. I could definitely see
bring him
something
back.
like that
Yeah,
happen.
interesting. All right. All right, before we get going, we talk about an hour. We could go on and on. Does anyone have any finale predictions or anything they really want to see? Do you think anyone's going to die? Do you think anything crazy is going to happen? Is it all a dream?
Oh
Are they
God.
going to wake up in a Vermont Airbnb, or is this we have to update it so it's not just a B&B, it's an Airbnb. All right, let's start with you, Ando. Any final thoughts or predictions or anything of that nature?
I really don't think I don't think Vecna and 11 are going to make it. I think they're both gone for sure. And 8, but 8 I'm not really that concerned with yet. I'm also with you guys that it's odd that 8 is here. Something major has to happen with that character. Otherwise, why in the hell would they bring her back? There's no reason to otherwise. So, otherwise I can't see anyone else. Maybe somebody has a maybe there's a sacrificing somebody sacrifices in a heroic way to save people. I could see Nancy going out like that. Or maybe Steve, but Steve I think is just too beloved. Nancy's kind of that badass that would go down with the ship. I think because we didn't talk about it. I loved her scene when she comes in like Rambo with the
Yeah.
knocking
Yes.
out. She actually the second time I watched it, she looks like identical to Sigourney Weaver in Aliens. Like the
Mm,
hair is exactly the
yes.
same. The
Yeah.
outfit is very similar. I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. So
Yeah.
I could see her going a couple characters I think will sacrifice themselves for the greater good, and I think it'll be thinking back at all the finales, I've loved every single finale they've done. I think that's one of the strongest things they do. So even though I was a little less cool on these middle episodes, my biggest prediction is it's going to just be fantastic and it's going to knock us on our asses.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right, Gina.
I think some people are definitely going to die. It's hard to kind of understand who that might be. Will might end up sacrificing himself.
Yep.
Um,
Mm,
I could kind of see that happening too, since he can channel. Like honestly, if Vecna dies, it could kill Will as well if he's in there channeling at the same time.
mm.
Um, I almost see that tie kind of like Harry Potter and the Horcrux, with
Or maybe
Voldemort.
all of the numbers are tied to him. If they have
Well,
his blood, maybe
yes.
they die too if Vecna dies.
Yeah. So there's something, yeah. People are gonna die. Is this all a dream sequence or like an extended D&D game? I really hope not, but it's like stuff has kind of been strangely fragmented this season. So it doesn't feel like a totally different person's telling the story, but it does feel different, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
I actually had a
Well,
friend of mine who texted me last night and he had just finished and he has the Netflix with ads. He doesn't have the premium Netflix.
Mm.
And he's like, I know it took so long. It's because actors were too busy filming commercials for Stranger Things
Yes.
that's why I was like,
The
huh.
Target
So,
commercials.
yeah, because he said every
oh
commercial on the
gosh.
Netflix with ads is basically the cast shilling Doritos or shilling Discover cards or
Oh
Target
Yes.
or whatever.
Oh,
So
that's so interesting. You know what? That's right, Andy. I didn't notice that until like on Christmas when Netflix showed the
yeah, the
football
football
games,
games.
and I was like, oh wow, they make their own commercials. And I didn't connect it to the fact that oh, they've probably been doing this for a while because I don't have commercials net
Yeah,
with
I don't either.
Netflix.
It's
Mm.
But
Yeah.
that's interesting because you really create it brings you back to the days of the 80s and stuff where the commercials that the network showed themselves were just as important. It kind of it joined together the shows and it made it feel like a
hmm
cohesive network. I
yeah.
never thought about Netflix doing that. It's very interesting to do that.
hmm
We have some chat people. Farheen says Steve is so dead. I hope not.
Oh
I'm worried.
no.
He's the one I'm probably actually most worried about. He's the one I'll be most upset if they kill him off.
Yeah,
Most
mm,
upset.
I know. I
Yeah,
don't
that would
like
hurt.
that.
Yeah,
Bath Time says what you
Robin would hurt
said.
too if she went out.
Will dies when Vecna dies.
Yep.
high
Robin,
probability.
yeah, I know Robin's gonna live on.
I
Bath
think
Time
so.
says Hopper goes back in time and saves his daughter. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I think Hopper's gonna die. That's who I think. I think that's gonna be the only person. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of deaths. I really don't. I don't think the show needs it. Everyone can live. We'll come back in 5 years and
You
do this
know,
again.
there was at the beginning of I think it was the fifth episode, yeah, because it's right after they rescue eight, and 8 and 11 and Hopper are in the thing, and when they leave that conversation, a camera does a pan out, and they pan and they stop on that bomb vest for about a 3 second
They
I
hold
do.
on the
they
They
camera,
do.
really do.
Yeah.
They
and they
do. You're
don't
right,
really talk.
Andy. Yep.
11 mentions
Good
it briefly
call.
again later, but I could see Hopper going out. That would make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yep. Um, all right. Well, listen, I want to thank Bath Time. Oh, let's see. James says Holly is going to use her powers to change the past. That's interesting. That's
Oh,
interesting. I like that idea. That's an interesting idea. She has been in the show a lot. She has played a big part in these
Yeah.
hmm
episodes.
And I would like to add, she was 3 in the first season.
There you go.
They gave her an age in the first season, which is still like, there's no way she's only 7 right now, or 8 even.
That's true.
no.
Well,
Sorry.
and I guess in
I
the end, it
can't
is a
let that go.
TV show. But I want to thank Bath Time. I want to thank Grandpa James. I want to thank Farheen. I want to thank Big J's, a bunch of other people that were in the chat and also watching us live. We really do appreciate it. I hope you subscribe. We're trying to do this live on YouTube whenever we can. We try to do our Around the Couch show as well. And very soon, by the way, we are not far at all, Gina. We're only like 2 or 3 weeks away from a night of the Seven Kingdoms, a Game of Thrones story or something, whatever
Yeah.
they're going to call it. We'll be covering that and have guests, of course. I'm sure Andy will come on for one episode and
Oh,
talk
I'm
about
sure I'll be
that.
there at some point. Yeah.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
going to be covering tomorrow. Actually, I'm recording. Um, is it the last Special Forces? Amy and I over on Little Miss Recaps Patreon have been covering that. And now we're going to be covering Traitors, season
Oh.
4 of Traitors. We're going to be doing a preview of that tomorrow. That's going to go up on her regular feed. And also, Heath and I are going to try to do Hijack in some
Oh.
way. Yeah, we're going to try to do short.
I think
It
you
was
should
someone?
stick to
Was
the
it
mini
your idea,
pods.
Gina, to do short pods? Somebody had the idea. Someone was
Me and
like, "You
Solo
should."
have been suggesting that for
Okay,
a long time that
we're
we should
just going to
try
do
that with
like
a couple of shows. Yeah.
15-minute, 20-minute podcasts on each episode,
Like a
like quick.
Bubba Let's Solve Murders in the Building
Yes, like
podcast.
just a
Yeah.
quick
Mhm.
one, quickies on
Yeah.
Hijack.
It's not like that
Um,
show needs to have an hour and a half in-depth
no,
breakdown, so
no.
15 minutes would be fun, I think.
15 is going to be a lot of fun. And we'll probably spend the first 5 minutes making jokes.
And the
Um,
last five.
and the last five. We'll talk. In the middle, though, we'll talk about
That middle 5 minutes will be
how
riveting.
handsome Idris Elba is. That's what we'll talk about. Damn, he looks good. Gives us all hope. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Lachlan and I will be back to talk about Stranger Things as well, but we're going to do a finale and series wrap up. We're going to talk about the whole thing, as we will as well too. So probably do end up doing like 2 Stranger Things pods next week. Enjoy the
Maybe you should,
finale.
Axel, maybe
Good.
you should suggest people listening if they want to send in their reactions to the finale.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Okay. Send it into dvrpodcast@gmail.com. That's dvrpodcast@gmail.com. You can go to DVR Podcast, find all our great podcasts. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/DVR. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Andy. Thank their families for giving the time now and enjoy
Thanks to
your
this
new
pod for
year.
giving me a break from my family for an hour and a half.
There you go.
Oh.
All right, I know. God, I had 4 boys here for over
Yeah,
24
it's a nice.
hours.
I love my family,
Wow.
but it's a nice to get away from the boys for an hour and
It's
a half.
I gotta go open every window in the downstairs where they were.
Because it smells like Mike Wheeler's basement.
Exactly.